So what's on the agenda for today? South American Wonderkids top 5 list. Okay, let's go. Hello all and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well and you're enjoying the FM23 content so far over here. So today we're doing South American Wonderkids and we'll be starting off by going below this video and hitting that subscribe button. Of course, giving the video a thumbs up. Always helps the channel grow, people see the video more, and it just helps me as a creator. So thank you very much if you have been doing that already. If you haven't already, please go below and do that right now. So let's dive in with the first player, David Ayala. He's a 19-year-old Argentinian midfielder. He can play in that cam, he can play in that CM role, but straight away I am drawn by some of those physicals. 12 acceleration, a balance of 12, natural fitness of 12 and stamina of 11. At 19 years of age, they can definitely still go up, and then you can go over to the mental straight away. The work rate of 14, positioning of 14. That is good for a midfielder. Determination, concentration, decision making, and composure are all a fairly high number. I mean, the whole lot of fairly high numbers. There's only leadership that's quite low within his mentals. So, a great player to work upon at the age of 19. But then, the technicals. There's some questionable ones with the long throws and penalty taking, but again, you probably should avoid even taking those in general. But when you look at the passing of 15, marking of 13, technique of 13 as well, I mean, if you work on that tackling as well, you could play them a little bit deeper possibly, but I do see him more as that attacking outlet within your team, with that dribbling of 13, that first touch of 12. A very good young player to work upon. Of course, he is valued right now between 2.5 and 7.4 million. At the age of 19, that is not bad, and of course, we go into his contract quickly, you can see. They do have an optional extension for 1 year, but if you get in there quick and on such a low wage of 6.5 thousand a week, you can quite easily steal David Ayala away from the Portland Timbers. So next up's our first Brazilian on the list, and we are looking at Kaique. He's a centre back, but he is 5'11", so straight away I have concerns about 5'11" centre backs. For me, 6'2" and above always. But the one plus side of this guy is he does have a good jumping reach of 14, and looking at some of the stuff here, attribute wise, you could easily convert him to a CDM possibly, but if you're comfortable playing with a bit of a smaller centre back with the high jumping reach. But firstly, I'm looking at straight away those mentals, anticipation of 13, concentration 13, decision making, determination all fairly high, and even at the lower end, that work rate, vision, teamwork, positioning and off the ball between 13 and 14. At the age of 18, this kid had it locked down mentally. I mean, in terms of technically, you're looking at that defender, you can see that first touch straight away, that heading both at 13 and not bad at all with 13 and passing as well, and then tackling and marking both at 14. You've got a very good defender on your hands here. I'm looking kind of like a Diego Carlos type figure over at Aston Villa right now. And similar to Diego Carlos, he's only 6'1", he's only a little bit taller than Kaique himself here. But again, a very good well-rounded defender, similar to Kaique. So someone you could work on and maybe make like that next Diego Carlos possibly, or even better, or if I mentioned prior, eventually you could moving into a CDM role. Of course, the valuation is between 6.8 and 20 million right now. And in terms of his contract information, he has a minimum release clause of 13.5 million, so it's not a bad deal really to get him over the line and get him into your club at an early door, and currently only earning 10 grand a week. You'll probably get him on a fairly cheap contract as well and get him into your club quite nice and early. And in at number 3, we're back with the Brazilians again. We're at Santos, so this time in Brazil, looking at Nathan, the right back slash right wing back, right winger. I mean, you can even see here, he's got the ability to possibly play centre back, but my main concern with that is, gets forward whenever possible. Do you want your centre back going that far forward? Possibly not, so I'll probably stick to this right hand side for him. But straight away, in terms of physically, he's an absolute physical specimen at 6 foot for a right wing back. Acceleration of 14, agility of 14, pace and stamina both at 14, natural fitness of 13. At 20 years of age, this guy can get up and down that wing all day long. And with that work rate of 12, that's not bad at all really. He can definitely fight up those wings all day for you. But I'm drawn straight away to that determination, decision making, concentration, all fairly good numbers for such a young age as well. And again, we can go over to the technicals here, and technically, he's very technically gifted. You can see that dribbling of 15, corners of 12 as well for his set pieces, free kick taking of 14 as well. Could we have a right-footed young Roberto Carlos on the go here maybe? With a bit of training, get those free kick taking up a little bit higher? Who knows? And of course then, further down that list you can see technique of 14 and tackling of 14. Not a bad little player at all really. I say little, he's 6 foot actually, so not so little. He's definitely taller than me. But a valuation between 7.4 million and 22 million, that's not a bad option really for a 20-year-old. And of course, we go into his contract here and a bit more of a deep dive. He's currently earning 7.75 thousand a week. It's not bad at all. and there is a minimum release clause for domestic clubs of 41 million, but I believe you can get him for much cheaper than that. We've already seen on his profile, you can get him between 7.4 and 22 million. He's definitely one to watch and keep an eye on. Hopefully you can get him in nice and early. Third up on the list, it's another Argentine again. The Argentines and the Brazilians are stealing this list right now, as we look at Alan Velasco, who's currently playing in the MLS at FC Dallas. He's valued between 5 and 15 million, which isn't bad for the 19-year-old when you look at the state of his attributes. You see in the physical side of things straight away that acceleration of 13, agility of 13, pace of 14 and stamina at 12. And further across then onto the mentals, that composure, that concentration, decision making, determination of 15 as well. Even got some flair in there at 14. Looks a very good player to put in your midfield or even out wide. Again, a bit further down here, you can see that vision and work rate at both 14 and 12. And as we look at the technicals, I'm drawn straight away to that 15 dribbling, of course, that technique of 14, passing of 12. There's a few areas there you could work upon possibly with this guy. I mean, if you want to get him more attacking and behind goal, I mean, finishing's already 13. That is not bad for a 19-year-old who isn't even playing as a striker within the game. But we can go now into his contract and have a brief look about what he's doing right now. He's on $22,000 a week already. He's a young designated player over at FC Dallas, but there is an extension to his contract for 1 year. So I possibly recommend getting him quite early because he has only just joined Dallas for $6 million in the last few months. So first season might be off the radar, maybe a loaning player possibly, but I very much doubt it because he's down as a start player for the club. So you're looking your second or third season coming back for Velasco, whilst he's still valued quite cheap and still under the age of 21, stealing him away and making him to an absolute gem. On to the final one, we are back to Brazil. Brazil win this list with 3 for Brazil, 2 for Argentina. There's no Colombians, no Ecuadorians. I mean, I'm sorry guys, these are the best players in the game. These are the best wonderkids within the game in my eyes personally. And we're drawn to Victor Roque. He is a 5'8" striker with acceleration and agility at both at 14, pace and stamina over at 13. The striker then has some really good mental attributes as well, with composure, concentration, decision making and determination, and flaring off the ball all at 13. And even work rate at 13 as well. So mentally, he's already at the top caliber already. For a 17-year-old, these are insane attributes. You go to the technicals, then I'm drawn to the dribbling and finishing, first touch, all hitting the 13s, even long shots as well at 13. So encourage this guy to shoot from distance, shoot from anywhere. If you get him trained up, he's going to have absolute bullet shots from all over the pitch. And very bottom there, you can see then that passing of 11, that could be a worry, possibly train that up if he's playing with another striker and has those wingers coming to help him as well. And that technique of 13. But straight away, the big takeaways, he's 17 years of age, he's quite a young player, and valued between 6.4 and 19.5 million already at the start of the game. If you go into his contract over here, you can see then, he's only on 6.25 grand a week, but the release clause is straight away, will drag you in. That domestic club clause of 36.5 million and a release clause for foreign clubs of 52 million. He's one of the more expensive players in this list. You're looking at quite a lot of money to get this player over the line for you. But on the plus side, if you can get him for this valuation now, go grab him while you can, maybe loan him out for a season or two till he hits 19-20, then bring him back to your first team and get him in that squad. So at this point in the video, we're going to go 10 years into the future now and look at all 5 of these players. And I'm going to show you why I've picked all 5 of them. 10 years in the future, let's have a look. So 10 years down the line now, and we are with David Ayala as the first one in this list. We're going to start by looking at the player's history and then actually look deeply at the players. So obviously when we met him, he was at Portland Timbers in the MLS. And not long afterwards, he was traded to Philadelphia before being sold to PSV Eindhoven for 7 million. And you can see in his time at PSV, he's had a lot of game time. He has developed pretty well. You can see he's got a few goals each season, assists well, 9s, 8s each season, hit 7 that season. So not the massive heights you might have imagined, but when you look at him attribute-wise, you're going to think why, because looking at the attributes straight away, physically, really good player still. This is age of 29, by the way. At the age of 29, he is really good physically, good acceleration, good agility. To be that advanced playmaker in that attacking role for you, you're getting the ball in the feet, playing it out, finding those strikers, and the fact he likes to try killer balls often now and dictates the tempo. I love that within a camp. But the work rate straight away and the mentors here, the mentors are what will drive you crazy. You've got leadership of 19 now, this kid has. 19 leadership, off the ball of 16, positioning of 18, further up they see decision making of 16, concentration 17, composure of 18, anticipation of 16. He's absolutely incredible. And then you go over this far side here, the passing of 17, mixed with the vision of 17. It makes you wonder why hasn't he been doing more over here at PSV. He's down as a star player but he hasn't been hitting the high numbers we'd hoped for. You can see on the career stats, he's got 20 goals and 171 appearances for PSV Eindhoven. In terms of the assists, it hasn't been that great for him, which is quite weird. I'm not sure how they're playing him exactly, because he's developed really well. His first touch and dribbling, hitting 13, aren't bad numbers at all for the 29-year-old. But again, valuation-wise now, between 22 and 65 million, so even at the age of 29, he's going for quite a bit of money, and you can see now in his contract, he's now up to 37 grand a week. Contract-wise, he's still quite a cheap player, think about it realistically. He came for 7 million, he's not earning millions of dollars a week sort of thing. So this guy is still a very good player to get in. And look at the state of those mentals, absolutely insane. Next up, we're looking at Kaikin. As we mentioned before, he could possibly train as a CDM before we get into all of this. You can see here, he has been played there a little bit. He's a bit unconvincing there, but he has been played as a DM, which prior he didn't have. Also, as a striker and as a right winger, oddly enough. So, I'm not sure what's been happening here in his career, but we'll dive in quickly and have a little look about what was happening. When we met him, he was at Almeria in the Spanish League, and he moved for 10 billion to Benfica. Had a couple of seasons at Benfica and did pretty well. You can see some good average ratings for him. Playing a lot of first team football before Chelsea came in for 85 million for this kid. 85 million, and he has been a rock for Chelsea. The first season didn't play so much with 14 appearances, but he could have joined in January for all we know. But since then, 28, 23, 34, 30 and 30 appearances every season, getting good average ratings, getting a few goals, a few assists, a few player of the match awards as well. But for a centre-back, you don't really expect many goals and assists realistically. But again, we did mention prior, he was quite small at the time. He's now 6 foot, so he has grown a little bit, and that jumping reach is 14 now, so he's slightly improved as a centre-back. He has grown that a little bit. Of course, being young, he's going to grow over time. But at 28 years of age now, physically, he looks great. Acceleration of 14, agility 14, balance of 15. At the bottom there, strength and stamina are 16. Player trait-wise as well, he marks people tightly now as well. Runs the ball ready, which you do want from a centre-back, and stays back all the time. Just out-and-out centre-back who will stay back and control the play. In terms of mental though, anticipation is 17 now, that's insane. Composure 15, concentration at 17, decision making at 16, some absolutely insane ones, and even further down the list here. Vision of 17 for a centre back is absolutely insane, and positioning as well, also 17. And as we dive into the technicals, for a defender, the top half, not really so much. That first touch is quite key, but everything else is not really going to get much from a centre back. But I'm drawn straight away by that marking of 17, passing of 14. Tackling of 13, okay, it's not the best, but it's still pretty good though for Premier League standard. And technique of 14 as well. I mean, he's not turned out very bad at all, really, this guy. He's done really, really well. He's had a great career going to Chelsea. And I mean, you can see now, 28 years of age, he is valued between 132 million and 395 million, which is quite insane, really. For the guy, he's done very, very well within this save. He's absolutely smashed it. He's grown to his potential and outshone it. Kaiki is definitely one you should go get in your save very early on. So next up, we're looking at Nathan. We mentioned Nathan earlier in this video that he can play that right back position, right wing back position, right midfield, and maybe a few other roles as well. We mentioned about that free kick taking. Would it go up? It actually went down to 13 and it didn't go any higher. What a shame. What could have been our new right-footed Roberto Carlos. It hasn't happened for the kid. But everything else though, within his attributes, look very, very good. We'll dive into that in just a moment because, of course, we start with his history of what happened to him. He was at Santos when we last saw him. He had a few seasons there starting off and then went to Seville for 11 million. He's been at Seville his entire career since then as a starter every year for this team. There's been stints here in the C team, which oddly enough, I'm not sure that was regarding wanting to leave or pre-season or something, but he didn't play any games within the C team, so I'm not really sure what happened there. But I mean, in terms of an overall career, he's done pretty good. I mean, assist-wise, 22 assists over the course of his career. That's not a bad return really from the wing-back, really. He also got 14 goals, oddly enough, so obviously even very, very good for a wing-back in this role. So let's dive in and see the attributes now. Of course, physically, you see the acceleration of 14, agility 15, oh my days, stamina of 15 as well. For the 6 foot right back, he's developed beautifully physically. I even forgot to even mention the player traits now. Runs down the ball right, gets forward whenever possible, likes to beat opponent repeatedly. Oh, these traits are absolutely gorgeous. And then the mentals now, the anticipation of 17, now concentration of 16, decision making of 15, even the off the ball, the positioning, and the vision and work rate aren't that bad at 13 and 12 as well. Now, he's 30 years of age at this point, sort of thing. He's had a great career over at Seville. Not a bad player at all. Technically, he's still fairly sound at marking of 15, of course, tackling of 14, a very good defensive option, but getting forward as well. He can dribbling of 14, first touch of 14. Still, he's a very, very good player. At the age of 13, you can see from his valuation, he's already valued in 45 million and 136 million at the age of 30, this guy. He can still walk into any European team in my eyes right now, looking at the attributes on the screen. The only thing that lets him down possibly for me is his crossing only being 11, but again, if you get him into your team, just train crossing, just train up these areas that look a bit weak right now. You've seen him in the future, you've seen what really hasn't developed for him, just train those areas for them. Going to our final two now, within the video, Alan Velasco, he's absolutely shone. You can see straight away from his valuation at 29 now. He must have had a good career, and let's have a quick dive and have a look what actually happened to him. So last time we saw him, he was at FC Dallas at 6 million transfer, didn't last for long. He went to Benfica for 6.5 million, absolute bargain. I told you he'd get him quite cheap at the start of this game. Had a few seasons there before being sold to Celtic, oddly enough, there for almost 20 million. But only lasting the 1 year in Scotland before Leipzig came in at £38 million. For the young midfielder, you can see there, since then, he's absolutely shone whilst in Germany. First team football every year, got 16 goals in the last 3 seasons as well with 2 assists. He's had 15 goals, 13 goals, 18 goals, 14 goals. For someone who plays in midfield predominantly, he's not had a bad career. I mean, he has been trained as a striker by looks of it as well. He's a natural striker now as well. So maybe that is an option for you going forward, that you could train this player into a striking option. I mean, looking at the attributes, I can see why you'd do it. The acceleration and agility, both at 15 there, with that stamina, of course, now at 15, strength of 12. It's not the highest, but it's, as a striker or as a winger, it's not bad. As a winger, it's very, very good. As a striker, you may a little bit more possibly to get past those strong centre backs, but he's doing the job. Obviously, he's been scoring the goals, and at 5'6" as well. I mean, what more strength would you expect, really? He's quite a small guy and he's been getting goals for fun. I mean, you can see in the top right corner actually here at Leipzig, in 155 appearances, he's got 81 goals. Absolutely insane numbers. As we dive into the mentals, I'm going to start at the bottom here because I've just seen Vision of 19. Vision of 19. This guy could find a pass across the moon. What a player. What a player. Get their positioning of 15, off the ball of 18. 16 decision making, 15 concentration, 18 in composure, and off anticipation 15. I almost missed that one as well. As we go into the technicals finally to end this bit up here. I mean, look at them straight away. Dribbling of 15, finishing 13, first touch of 13. It's no wonder he's been playing as a striker with that technique of 14 as well. I mean, there's a few bits there you might think, okay, they're a bit low, but I mean, it's tackling, it's long throws, it's heading. He's 5'6". What do you expect from the guy? What do you expect from the guy? In terms of contract currently, of course, he's at Leipzig now. You'd imagine he's on quite a bit of a wage there. He's on 115 grand a week right now. I mean, there's no release clause now. He's probably going to be a lifer there, you'd imagine at this point. He's still very, very good within the game. A high valuation at 29 years of age. It'll be interesting to see if he moves on within another 5 years. But at his peak, this guy looks insane. So we end the video now with 27-year-old now, Victor Roque. Of course, when last time we saw him, he was only 16 years of age. He's turned to a fringe player now at Chelsea, so I'm not sure what's actually happened here. We'll have a quick deep dive into his career. Of course, last time we saw him, he was still Atletico PR over in Brazil. And since then, I mean, it's not really gone to... Oh, he went for 15 million to Chelsea. And I mean, he has started a few games the first few seasons, but limited goals for him. 25 appearances, 4 goals, 3 goals, 5 goals. He's never got more than... Most was 9 goals in his first season at Chelsea. So since then, it's kind of not really gone up the plan for him, honestly. It hasn't worked out as well, but I mean, in terms of looking at the play, he looks still absolutely insane. So I'm not sure it's how Chelsea are playing him role-wise, exactly what's happening, but he's never been capped for Brazil. He's on the transfer list right now for 35 million. 35 million for 27 for this guy. I'm looking at those attributes and thinking, sign him up, take my money right now, because straight away I'm drawn with that agility of 16, stamina of 17. This guy can run all day for you, mentally as well. The anticipation of 16, composure of 17, concentration and decision making both at 16. Even determination of 17. This guy is going to trap back, he's going to do everything for you, to imagine, by the looks of those attributes. I mean, technically, okay, you can see there on the flight, the finishing side of things, only got 13 finishing for a striker, but the first touch of 14, the dribbling of 15, they're not bad attributes at all for this guy. It's a bit of a wonder of what happened to Victor Roque here, honestly, because attributes-wise, he looks insane, but the fact he only got 29 goals within 146 appearances for Chelsea, it makes you wonder, where did it all go wrong for this guy? But again, though, you've seen him now on screen, you've seen what he can do. If you get him at that young age and playing first-team football, he could possibly turn out much, much better than this. So he's definitely still one to watch and one to keep an eye on within your games. So that's going to be all now for our 5 South American wonder kids. You've seen the 10-year difference of how they start off and how they look within 10 years in the game, of course. These all vary on depends on how much you're playing the player, what you're doing in terms of their training, It's going to fluctuate, but it gives you a bit of a general idea about how they look if the AI ran their careers. So obviously you can make them a lot better than what the AI can. You know what you're doing with your training, and if you're not sure, check out the other videos on the channel and you'll find out how best to train these players up in time. Right, but for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Of course, if you have, please make sure you're liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Let me know down below in the comment section if you found any better South American Wonder Kids who you reckon should be in the list. And for the record, I do know about Hendrik, but everyone knows about Hendrik now, so we didn't put him in the list. As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.